we just want to be dirty child, dirty children. Yes, I just want to be 8-year-old and get very dirty with these other kids.
The mockumentary format is a really wonderful playground for the actors and the writers and the directors. It's very real feeling, and yet because we're not fussy with lighting or anything like that, the vast majority of the time is spent on the acting and giving lots of variations in the scenes, and so the atmosphere on set is very juicy and fun and improvisational, and that's a really joyful thing. And also because it's more real, a real feeling, it does have a style, and you have to remember all the rules, that there's cameramen in the room, and if they're not there, how are they getting it? And there's a lot of fun stuff to think about, and it allows you to have characters that are more ordinary people, feeling like they just were captured, and they don't have to look a certain way or anything. They can just be cross-section of interesting people, and so that helps with the casting, because you can get just the funniest, not that these aren't the most attractive people in the world, they're very, very attractive. They're super awesome. But we selected...
Let me help you dig yourself out of that hole.
Yeah.
Somehow I'm going down in flames, but you can select for pure comedy brilliance and improvisational ability. Do you know what I mean?
Domhnall still processing, by the way.
Okay.
It's really simple.
So now we'll see their improvisational ability as they roast me for the next the next half hour.
Michael, what would you add?
Yes, save me.
I want to add to that. No, I agree. To me, the mockumentary format it's so fantastic for comedy, because it's really one of the only forms that is great for very small comedy, and just naturalism, and just the smallest gestures and looks, and you can go big too. I mean, as long as what's happening is feels natural, it can kind of accommodate every kind of performance. And so I think that also attracts the quality of actors that fortunately we have, which are just people you kind of dream of working with.
Absolutely. Domhnall, I want to toss this one to you. Ned is a very handsome character. Okay, Greg didn't mean what he said. I'm sorry.
The best of the whole funny-looking group.
As the leader of the funny-looking group, Ned is unconventional. He really is, though, an inspirational leader, and it's been so awesome to watch his arc over that first season. What drew you to him? What were you most interested in getting across when it came to who this guy is and why he cares so much?
First of all, thank you, and thank you, Greg. No, I think what I liked about Ned was that he was aspirational, that he naively optimistic. He believes things are possible that may not be possible, and because he's working at a newspaper, I think that might be necessary, and that's kind of why he's there. So I like that he thinks they can change the world. I think that's a great quality in someone, and then for him to be bad at it sometimes, I think is also, that's a nice kind of counterbalance.
Totally. And when you think about all of the incredible roles you've given us through the years, a lot of film roles especially, what drew you to this sort of workplace comedy and ensemble opportunity like this one?
I like work. I like shows. I like things that make me happy, and I felt like it was a good time to try to make people happy, and to create a happy place, a place where you can feel at home, and that'll make you laugh and believe in a better world. And I think that Greg and Michael were making that, and it was a chance to work with Greg and Michael. I mean, that was the main thing. That's like, in your life you want to work with the best people, and they are the best people, so that also made me feel good.
Now I feel bad.
You should.
I didn't say they were great looking. I just said they're good people.
1 out of 2 ain't bad. 1 out of 2 ain't bad. Sabrina, I want to toss this one up to you. Esmeralda is so much fun to watch.
And also very sexy and beautiful.
And also very sexy and beautiful. Talk to us a little bit about diving into this American workplace comedy. What was the most fun for you? What was the most interesting part of bringing Esmeralda to life? I mean, you have such incredible moments, the physicality even sometimes with the comedy. Talk to me a little bit about that work for you.
Allora, these scripts are so inspiring that when I read them, I laugh by myself, and then when I'm on set, things happen naturally. Like I don't have to act. I live those things and other things arrive. Like I become this crazy twin that I have. Esmeralda is like a crazy twin. And I feel that I can go nuts with Esmeralda because I feel in the best hands. I feel I am in a safe place. I can be very vulnerable because to be funny, you have to be vulnerable. You have to not to think about how you look, for example. And I love to lose myself in Esmeralda and just going nuts. And this is the right environment to do that. And Esmeralda now is a creature that lives by herself, and sometimes I just witness what she does, and I don't even know what she's going to do. And these two people are so crazy that you do not imagine what's going to happen in the second season, because they're getting nuts too. And and so I think that for an actor, this is beyond the dream. When you feel inspired, first of all, working on inspiration is what an actor dreams about, because I think we just want to be dirty children. Like, yes, I just want to be 8-year-old and get very dirty with these other kids.
That's so poetic.
Like dirty in the mud, right? Like running around. Can I tell you something?
Yeah.
You guys are perverted.
I don't think we're the problem.
I'm an innocent person. It's a crowd of perverted people, this one.
Dirty, ugly children.
There's just so much happening here, and it's only 7.5 minutes into the panel. I want to thank you all for making my job so easy today already. I love this. I want to toss this one over to you, Chelsea. Mary is one of the few experienced reporters on the staff when we meet everyone on the team. What was your approach to diving into the world of an experienced but fictional journalist?
Yes, well, we had the honor of getting to meet with some actual journalists at the Palestinian Post as we were researching the roles, me, Melvin, and Ramona. And it was amazing. I mean, I have always loved local journalism so much. My grandmother worked from Andover. My grandmother worked at the Andover Townsman my entire life. Local journalism is so important, and especially with the Palisades, with everything that happened with the fires, and you have this small local newspaper truly providing like information as it's coming out. And just hearing also the struggles they have of, again, you know, lack of funding, lack of resources. Sadly, the Palestinian Post has closed down since this started, which is so sad, and also, you know, shows, I think, where we're at in the industry. And I think with our show, like Domhnall was saying, I think it's reminding everyone of the importance and the fun. And yeah, it was really always interesting getting to speak with actual journalists. And also having Mayor kind of start from a place of having given up, and then to get this new, you know, editor coming in to revitalize the paper, and having this dream of bringing it back, I thought was also really special.
Yeah, absolutely. Melvin and Ramona, this one's for you. Dedrick and Nicole, I was really rooting for those two. Spoiler alert, I've been approved to share it, but if you haven't entirely caught up, we don't quite get the happy ending we were hoping for, at least at the end of season 1, but you never know how things will play out. Talk to us a little bit about the casting process for the two of you, the on-screen chemistry that your characters had. What was it like sharing those scenes together and sort of navigating their dynamic as the season progressed? Wow, that good.
We have a lot of chemistry. Take it away, Melvin.
We both do the same thing. Every time we have a joint question, we look at each other. Both more like quiet. But yeah, when we had to do the chemistry test, there were matches with different versions of Dedrick and Nicole, and I remember our first time, they were like, do you guys know each other? We were like, no. So they were like, okay, get to know each other. And they left the room. And it was us for like 4 minutes, just like, trying to get to know each other. The camera was still rolling. I saw the red light blinking. But hey, how are you? Where are you from? Cool. But yeah, it was a great read. I feel like we had great chemistry, I guess. Greg and Michael did too. And on set, I felt like Ramona was kind of like a comfort blanket for me. Like a lot of my scenes was with her. We hung out a lot. We ate lunch together, and it just became very like easy to work with. And when we had those moments of Nicole and Dedrick getting to know each other, it was similar to me and Ramona getting to know each other, because they had never talked and we had never really talked besides those 4 minutes. And
Wait, what did you talk about in the 4 minutes?
Just the general things.
Yeah, one of the questions Melvin asked me during our chem read was, how was it with all the other guys?
Is this the best 4 minutes?
Yeah.
I don't remember that. It's not a question I would ask on a date. But she said I was the best, so.
All that matters.
Good girl.
So, Bevy Sola, this one's for you. Gorgeous, by the way. Can we just have a moment for her outfit? It's giving everything that needs to be given. So good. A fun fact, you aren't only giving an incredible performance, you're also writing on this project. So talk to us a little bit about doing double duty. What was the most rewarding part of it, the most challenging, if there was a challenging part for you?
Yeah, I love being able, I feel like it's a little bit of a cheat code into the character, because when you're in the room and you're sort of breaking the story and figure out who these characters are, as a writer, you get to sort of sit there and learn who she is and grow into her. So by the time by the time I'm on set, I sort of feel that much closer to her as a character. So that's always really great. But then also for me, the challenge I think of being the writer in the room is we're serving the whole show and all these other characters. So there'd be times where I'd forget to advocate as an actor for the character or think about the specifics of her. So for me, I felt like it took a while. It was like right near the end where I suddenly had this epiphany of who I thought Adelola was. And I remember coming to Greg and Michael with this manifesto that I'd sort of written over the weekend and was like, this is who she is, and this is what I think, and they were just like, absolutely. And it did mean we pivoted on a few things that were originally in the room, but they were so open to that. So it was such a great, awesome experience to be able to be that open and that specific, and these guys to be like, yeah, we love that.
I have to say, Demi has written her own award-winning show in England. She's an amazing writer. To have somebody like that doing both of those.
And that was so helpful. It was like a Bible with photos and sections, and I think a few times actors have walked in with that much preparation, and it doesn't necessarily become canon, but that that's like in their head, and they have a huge amount of hidden iceberg under the part that's on on the show, and it really is inspiring for us, gives us lots of ideas.
I mean, it was like a multi-generational backstory. It did affect the second season. I mean, it's.
Yeah, it's very true. There's some things that are in the manifesto, as I call it, that are sort of found their way into season 2, which is great.
Oh, I love hearing that. We're excited to see that all play out. Oscar, you right there? Hi, Oscar.
Present.
Present here. Tell us a little bit about stepping back into Oscar Martinez's world, but with an entirely new cast of characters.
My shoe size the same, waist the same, that didn't change, but I want to go off script a little bit because we're up here and everyone's like, oh, it's so much easy and fun to do this, but there's some drama too because we have to take a physical before we get greenlit to do the show. And we all did this, and I don't know their experience, but I don't know who to go to or what, but I had my physical. No, this gives you a chance to look behind the scenes. I had my physical, everything's fine, a little high blood pressure, but everything's fine, and the doctor says, you're fine, I recommend an apple a day, and I kind of chuckle. I say, an apple a day keeps the doctor away, because it's an old saying. And he just looks at me, and I'm like, an apple a day keeps the doctor? And he goes, well, whatever, but I'm recommending an apple a day, and he's writing in his thing, and he goes, but I'm prescribing it as a suppository.
Man.
Exactly. And I don't know.
This is a section of Oscar's manifesto that we didn't use.
He's a doctor, so I have to do, and do I complain? Do I keep my mouth shut? So anyway, these are the things that go on, and I think it's important. Because show businesses, and you see us up here, and we're great and whatever, but anyway, Oscar, the character's still gay, he's getting it up, he's older now, the character.
Yeah, he's older now. No, all of it. Thank you for all of
He's
that.
older now, he's gayer now, but it's like that old song. It's everything, there's a season, turn. I hope I answered your question. Don't make them clap with the signal. I don't need extra. You don't need to coach the deaf people.
This one's pretty open-ended, specifically to the cast, but all of you, of course. We're curious to know, it seems like there's a lot of really fun improvisation happening when we're watching this. How often are you sticking to the script? How often are you going off track? And what does that feel like in real time when you're on set? How much fun is that?
It's much fun.
The most fun. Did you guys hate it? Jesus.
There are these moments, like when we do the conference room scenes, that I think are always just so iconic because it means everyone's in the room. We're always sort of, it's like when we do story pitch scenes, and there's these moments where a director might say, okay, it's one for you guys. And the crazed, if you thought that was a crazed moment there from Oscar, imagine that times like all of us just going for it. And it's so much fun, and just this kind of, this bubbling pot of just funny, and I just sort of, those are my favorite scenes to do, because it's just all of us.
And can I add, that's for free, that's not in the contract. We improvise for free, for you guys and for the children.
The 8-year-old dirty children.
And you know what? And instinctively, because Mark Twain said, comedy is like a filthy child. Look that up.
I also do think, I was kind of, I mean, there is a lot of improv, but I was such a fan of The Office, and I always thought like, oh, it must be so much improv, but you just realize the writers are just such geniuses, and also write in such a natural way that I think a lot of the time it sounds, you know, it becomes like, yeah, really. You realize like, sometimes I'm like, why would I ever improvise? This is perfect. I cannot touch it.
But I think then there's also moments of just real silliness. I think sometimes the physical stuff is, I'm looking at Melvin because he does very funny physical comedy. Physical comedy! You do funny things!
I would say this is true of everybody, but I do want to say Domhnall specifically because I think people maybe think of him as like, you know, he's like a world-class actor. He's an incredible improviser, and I would say there's like a crazy amount of stuff that is what we use. That is what Domhnall will add to a scene, and it's always like in the scene. It's not some crazy out of the wall non sequitur thing. I mean, he just like builds off of what's there. But it's, to me, like, if you want to see, you don't know it's improv, unfortunately, when you're watching it. But this is an example of, I think, great
1,000%. 1,000%.
Domhnall, what's it like from your perspective, giving those performances?
It really feels like
Saving the show every minute.
Yeah, are you making fun of me?
No, I'm not. I'm actually, because one of the things that we were talking about earlier was like, there's certain times when the scenes are missing something kind of important, and we are now in the editing room for season 2, and you know, you're like, oh God, I wish he only expressed this thought that we didn't put in the script, and then he expressed this thought in a couple of takes, you know, and you're like, oh, that wasn't a joke, that was just kind of fixing the story for us, you know. So I hope that didn't come out sarcastic, but no, literally, they're not always comedy things, they're sometimes just fixing things.
Oh, that's nice. I feel great now. This is no, I think, you know, I think it's like Chelsea said, the scripts are so wonderful, and the opportunity to, like, I think there's a really beautiful heart in it. So I think as long as we're all connecting, it feels great. And I think what happened over the course of the last season and then this season too is I really feel like we're all just getting closer, understanding each other better, and still retaining the ability to surprise each other and like fuck up the scene in the middle of it to make sure that there's still life there all the time. They provide a room for that, but the scripts are so solid, and then the group is so, it's like a really beautiful group of people. We were just finishing season 2, and you know, been away from family and friends for like 3.5 months, and it's a beautiful thing for this to be your family for a while. It's a great place to go to work.
I love hearing that. Speaking of season 2, not to go too off script here, but with what you can share, we know where things sort of, and we saw a preview of sort of what's to come. What are you most interested in having, not just the characters explore, but we the viewer experience as we dive into season 2 of this world?
Oscar gets pregnant.
Oh my God, I was hoping.
It's a medical miracle.
Oh, this is great.
Beautiful.
That's really good news. I'm so glad to hear it.
I think in season 2, all the characters kind of push the envelope more. I think the writers and the creators of the show know the characters more, and the actors know the characters more, and now we get an opportunity to really like see how far out we can go.
Yeah, for example, me, I love physical comedy a lot. And these scripts are so inspiring that my body invents things that I didn't know I could do. And it's very surprising, like you see what your body can do and who you can become. It's discovering other secret rooms in your brain where you start to think differently and act differently and go all the way into craziness and feeling safe. I never think about death while I'm shooting this.
I love that for you.
I think about it all the time.
Greg, Michael, what would you do add to that?
I think she should think about death a tiny bit, just to represent the point of view of the safety officer on the show. We're always saying, how about a stunt person? She's like, no, I'll show you how to do it. And we're like, wait, the cameras aren't even rolling. Jumps into something, and, you know.
Well, this actually happened in the first season. There was an episode, I think it was number 5, that ended in a bar, and all the ladies went out to dance together. and Esmeralda does the worm at the end of the evening. And Sabrina did the most unbelievable performance of the worm, and she just like put her entire body at risk going up and down on the floor, and she did it, and then the director said, "Great, let's shoot one."
Exactly! Now I'm still seeing my therapist because of that. I was so shocked.
She did recreate it in a way I didn't think possible, but...
Now, allora, imagine guys that once a girl that used to work in this show, she had to leave to do another job, and she came to me and she said, "I just want you to know that it was worthy for me to work here to see you doing the worm, but no one will ever see that." I said, "Thank you." Like, it looked like something that Esmeralda would say, because it was a compliment and such a nasty thing to say. At the same time, I was shocked. But, allora guys, imagine this. On the script, there was this line, like, "And you girls will watch me while I'm doing the worm." And me, I thought, I should do the worm. So I went to Greg and Michaels and I said, "Can I do the worm? Can we do the actual scene where I do the worm?" But I didn't know what I was talking about because I've never seen a worm before. And so, right after I went on YouTube and I saw the worm and I said, "What the fuck? Why am I so stupid that I'm proposing something that I'm not able to do?" And they hired a professional that came to give me lessons of worm. And I was
of worm.
Yes. And imagine that me, because they were not completely sure about me doing this, there is a video of me going in front of the office and doing the worm. Like, do you remember there is a video of me walking? Anyway, during that night before shooting, because I was feeling so insecure about this worm, I did the worm in my bed all night long. With the tutorial. It was YouTube, and I was watching YouTube, and I was doing the worm all night long. But the mattress was a bit soft, so it was not a good worm. Anyway, that day I couldn't wait to do the worm. That's why I did that performance. I couldn't wait. So I entered on stage and I just, and my knees were bleeding. Do you remember, guys?
Oh, yeah, she had bruises
Allora,
all
let's see
over.
if I still have the bruise. Can you see just a little bit of darker color here? Oh. Look, Wanda. This is because of the worm. And no one saw that performance. So imagine how upset I am. But it's okay.
More therapy. It's more therapy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's anyway, in a lifetime, it's good to be a worm, and at least once, because you understand how they feel, poor creatures.
Empathy is important.
Imagine when they feel ignored. It's very bad.
Let's hear it for the worm. I know we've got just a few seconds here before we wrap up, so this is just open-ended to anyone who does want to share. Obviously, we're so excited about season 2. We're loving what you've done with the paper, with Toledo thus far in the first season. Any final words to the audience today? Anyone?
Thank you for watching.
Yes,
Thank you
thank you for being
so much
here.
for being here. Sunday.
There we go. All right, now we're running out of time. All episodes of the paper
Oh, can I
are
say one thing?
available.
Can I just
Yes,
say one
you
thing?
can.
Well, there are members of our crew here.
Yeah.
Stand up. These guys are the crew here.
Here we go. Let's hear it for everyone.
They're the best to ever do it.
An incredible team. Thank you all so much for coming out. Let's hear it again for the incredible cast.
Thank you.
Hilarious.